rates shown in both directions on that sheet. And if you go back to that detail of that wall, you'll see that the wall, we're creating, a crevice, a small shallow swale to channel the water out in both directions. So that's pretty much the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Did you hear it?
You calling me, Ryan?
Yeah. Comments?
Yeah, I thought that Dave's description was very good, and as long as it works as designed, it sounds good. I'd like to hear from the neighbors of if it's just Frank Knox that had an issue or any others, but as Dave described it, it sounds fine as long as it works.
Why not?
Alright, so we're across the way from now.
Can you name and address?
Chad, 11 Hayes Street. We live across the way from Knox Electric, and they're not the only yard. My yard floods in the front completely. If you're gonna raise up the grade, I mean, he has videos of how much it is flooded. I suggest we dig up the road, put another storm drain in, catch basin. If you really want to get technical, VFW side would need one because it floods on that end and comes straight across the Hayes Street. So, to be honest with you, that street cannot handle no more water whatsoever.
You mean the Legion, right?
Huh?
You mean the Legion, right? Not VFW, VFW.
VFW is
Right.
behind, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Acushnet Legion is.
Huh?
VFW's
Which,
on,
I'm next to the post office, so VFW, right?
VF's on Roosevelt.
I'm on
He's
Hayes
talking-
Street.
he's
I'm
on
on
Hayes
Hayes Street. No,
American
hold
Legion.
on. Is it American Legion?
Yeah.
Is it?
No. You're talking, the VF is on Roosevelt, which the water comes
right.
from
Yes.
Roosevelt to your
That's what
property.
he's saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
From
and then it
VFW
comes
side.
to
oh,
Hayes
okay,
Street.
okay.
Because that's a big hill, it flows
Yeah, I
down,
get it,
yeah.
bellies, same thing by the post office, the belly's right in that middle. From the lady next door, it literally just floods straight across, right into Knox's and our property. And then from the top of the hill, from our actual street, it's a flood over there in general.
Yeah,
Never
both
mind
sides.
with that heavy rain. The street across only happens with heavy downpours, a couple inches an hour. But any other rain, there's always a flood in front of our house.
Mhm.
So I would seriously look into that. I mean, I don't know about, there's gonna obviously be runoff, period. Water flows downhill. I mean, to say you're gonna catch it and then disperse it back on the road, it can't even handle that.
well, that's what they have.
Well, this was designed so that the post-construction runoff is not gonna exceed the pre-construction. So if the design works as it's,
Design.
proposed, then that it wouldn't exceed the current conditions.
If anything, it
So
should
this
help.
whole
Well,
feet,
yeah, it should
this
be.
whole feet of area from the road to the house of mulch, grasses. Mulch doesn't retain water.
No, but
runs off.
his driveway will, this whole unit in the middle will. Like, that's what that is all is. That's another reason why he put the dry well in the back. That's all gonna contain everything. So if there's anything that's over.
So you're gonna have dry wells in front of the house.
No, behind, that's what.
Well, behind is behind. I mean, the front is still gonna run off.
It's, the amount of land that he has that's gonna run off is,
16,000 square feet for 4 units.
but majority of that.
I thought
is
in the
going
town of
to-
Acushnet was 10,000 per house to get.
Then there's nothing to do
Yeah,
with
it's-
Yeah, that's
landlord.
planning board,
That's-
that's-
They already fought that and they got approved for it,
None of
so.
us were ever.
You guys
aware
were
of
there. I watched the meetings. You
Huh?
guys-
Yeah,
You guys were there.
We
That
were
was
there?
yeah, at the planning board meetings.
Zoning
No,
board.
I'm saying like I mean, my neighbor never knew about it. I never knew about the first meeting. I just found out about the last meeting that was canceled, and this is the first one.
Yeah,
I
this is
actually knew about.
conservation though, this isn't
Right.
planning.
yeah, this ain't the planning board,
You
we're the
weren't
conservation
notified?
commission.
Prior?
Nope, none of us. My neighbor that lives directly across the street from it too was not notified.
I don't know, I watched the meeting, I saw a lot of familiar
No,
faces there sitting in this room.
Yeah, that's
No.
interesting.
I wasn't there.
Hey, Ryan,
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
So the photographs that Frank Knox sent into conservation, they do depict flooding in the street, but it's pre-construction. And I don't think the developer needs to clean up the town's problem of pre-construction flooding. He just can't contribute to the pre-construction flooding.
Right.
But one of the videos shows that the storm drain out there is definitely undersized because it's like a vortice. And it just can't get down the drain. It's like a tornado. So there's nothing we can do about the pre-construction flooding of the street.
I agree.
There hasn't been any work done on
You're cutting out, Pat.
Yeah.
We lost you, Pat.
Yeah, we can't hear
He
you.
can't fit something.
Yep.
I lost him.
That stinks.
You're very quiet. I can't hear you.
How about that?
Oh,
There we
go.
yeah.
It's
You're
on
back.
your end.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we can't pin the pre-construction flooding on the developer.
Right.
Right.
See, well, pretty much you're saying, so you're saying not even a drop of water from his build is gonna touch that street. That's
No,
pretty much.
no,
no, what we're
not-
saying
no.
is
It's
there's
gonna
not
be-
gonna be a drop of water more than,
Should be.
It's gonna be less.
it's not gonna exceed what currently,
What I'm saying is, yeah, but no matter what, you're building something, the water goes, it's not gonna catch every drop, we all know this. So for their sake, there is gonna be extra water going. The street already cannot handle it. So you're saying there's not even gonna be a centimeter, not a smidge of water extra, it already can't handle
It
it.
should
to
be
begin
less.
with.
No, it shouldn't
No,
be.
it should
It
be
should
less.
be-
Right now,
because-
right now that field is all crushed, hard pack. So if anything, by him putting in stone is gonna help right away,
Just-
already. That's how it was,
The
a,
roof drain system.
You're only talking the driveway. That's the
no,
only
we're
thing
not talking
crushed on.
driveway, in the middle of this whole thing is a
Right.
huge, it's a huge catch basin that if it does start to get too much water, is gonna go into the what's it
pond.
called?
Retention.
The retention pond.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
So it's
Yeah.
not gonna go to the street.
well, I mean,
The minimum will
He's
be,
already,
Should be
he's already
less
having
than-
second opinions
it
though.
should be less.
it's 12, the only thing he has
What
is
is it
12.
gonna-
I mean, I understand your query as far as the town, being responsible for the drainage on the street. It's typical in this town. But
Well, see,
if,
yeah, go ahead.
would like to just respond.
Ryan.
Yeah, Pat.
I think it would be helpful if Dave explained the infiltration system.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
up
he's
there
coming
right
up to
now.
the podium right now.
That's a pretty elaborate system. That might help out.
Yes, first I'd like to address the Board of Appeals. I wasn't involved in that.
That's what-
And whether I was or I wasn't, when you file an application with the Board of Appeals, you pay a fee in the town. The ZBA takes care of the abutter notifications. It's supposed to be 300 feet in all directions, not 100, it's more than this.
Right, yeah, expand.
So those who aren't notified, they would have to go and take that up with the ZBA. They should have proof that the notifications went out. So I probably didn't explain it well, and I apologize, but I think this is, as Pat said, it's a sort of an elaborate system for residential development. The town does allow 4 units on a 16,000 square foot lot under the bylaw this was applied for. The bylaw now has been superseded. This is grandfathered, so to speak, it's already approved. But at town meeting, they approved a different bylaw now that has more restrictive elements to it, if you will. But even though, regardless of that, when Rob and I talked about it, we wanted to contain all the runoff. And it's, we have a drainage consultant as part of our team, Kerry Williams, she may even be on the Zoom. And she runs a computer model, it's pre and post. And that report, it ends up being an inch thick by the time they print it out, and it's been submitted. And it shows that the pre and post rates of runoff, we have to reduce it under when you do a project like this, so, well, we try to anyway. I mean, we do, but we think we're exempt. We're exempt from putting in this type of system, but we want to do the right thing and contain the runoff, just for the fact that, you know, you're putting this development right into the neighborhood. And I know you're talking about drainage issues. I think, from my understanding, the drains in the center of town, especially that section, everything heads out towards the high tensions near PJ Keating. And there's a large pipe. If you go down that dirt road, you'll see that there's a large outfall pipe. And years ago, Dan Menard went in and excavated that trench. I don't know if anybody remembers, but there was a big gouge dug right through, parallel to the road, Main Street, out to the entrance of the concrete company.
LNS.
And LNS, and it went under, they had put a large culvert in it, the whole thing was filled in. So the town was having drainage problems. It has been a while since that was put in. I don't know if maybe it's a little overgrown, maybe things aren't moving as well as it should. But what you have is that large pipe, and then as development kept going into town, I think the pipes are probably overtaxed. You know, they're undersized. That's why the catch basins aren't probably handling that. But what we're proposing is all of the roof leaders will come down to the rear of the buildings, and they'll all go into this pretty large system. It's 18 feet wide, and it's let's see. It's a pipe, a stone pipe system. It's 18 feet by 56 feet, 55 8-inch pipes, perforated pipes are within the system, and the pipes are laid into almost like an enormous leaching field for a septic system. There'll be an under-dig excavation down to the best soil that we encountered when we did the test pits, to a depth of 58 inches. So they're gonna remove all that and put in, so the roof runoff drains into this system, and during the excessive storms, it won't bubble up out of the ground. It will flow into a detention pond, and the detention pond will hold, between the two systems, will hold a 100-year storm event. It will release water, but no more than what happens now from water overland flow. So what we're talking about going towards the retaining wall is just a strip of grass that is now vegetated. And that's all part of the equation when the modeling is done. Kerry Williams could speak more to that if there are additional questions. That's why she's on Zoom with us this evening. So I hope that helps a little bit.
I have the same system in my house, I put it in. I get about the rainfall, no matter what, you still have runoff. The retention ain't gonna carry it all.
Oh, there's no question that runoff will happen. You can't create a bathtub on your lot and
So I think we should
not let it drop off. The idea is
Fix
the model, it comes up with flow figures for where the water, each little area it deposits and takes off now from the site. And the model says that before and after, we're reducing that runoff, so it'll be less. There
Can you
won't be-
guarantee that?
Well, just the math is, so if each house dwelling is 28 by 40, right? To find square footage, you're gonna go 28 by 40 times, 28 times 40, which gives you 1,120 square foot, times 3 is 3,360 square foot. So that's 3,600 square foot of that area that's gonna be taken care of already. So that just alone
It's
is
times
gonna
four,
bring it
actually.
down. Yeah,
It's
times
about
4.
4,500 square feet.
So that square footage is already taken off that
It's only
lot.
gonna handle a percentage.
Yeah, but that's just the
Yeah.
houses is what
I
I mean.
realize, again, it's only gonna, you get a 3-day rain event, I mean.
Doesn't
That system will still hold that. That system's
That's just
design is supposed to hold all of that. It's numbers, that's
Is the
what.
town gonna back all the damage?
That, I'm sorry, but this
Cost
meeting
exact-
isn't about the town, it's about his project. So technically, by law, I don't think we can really speak on that much.
It's not, the town, you'd have to talk to DPW about handling the pre-existing conditions there, you know?
That's, unfortunately, I'm just trying to go by.
Well, I mean,
what-
that land is also gonna be elevated as well, correct? That's what the retaining walls are for?
Well, the-
So, right now, that land is much lower than what it's
Mr.
proposed to be.
Mr. Knox, can you take the podium?
And, like,
Frank Knox, I do own Knox Electric.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something, when my neighbor's house was built back in the day, that was basically somewhat of a sketchy deal because it was a lot that was grandfathered in with the new zoning of the town,
Yeah.
okay? They built that house there, and I would have to check with the former owner of my building if he ever had the event that I had.
The turn, yeah.
But I sent the conservation a video, I don't know if the video came through,
Yeah,
but the water was 8 inches up on my garage doors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so now I have a real problem with elevating another lot, because you can't tell me that stormwater's not gonna run off the lot. I don't care how you slice it. Water flows downhill,
Unless it's caught.
okay? So when I have 10 to 12 inches at my garage doors, this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah, but you should already have the problem with 8 inches at your door to the DPW, not to the guy putting in
Well,
a new
Mr. Knox,
plan with engineer.
Pat forwarded those pictures to me, and I wanted to know why there was 3 inches of water in front of your door. So I went and looked. You have a downspout that comes down on the northeast corner of the building. It's a 6-inch,
That building's been there for 40 years.
whatever.
Or,
I
whatever.
understand, but I'm just saying. You have a 6-inch PVC pipe going from the southeast corner of the building all the way to the northeast corner of the building. So the whole east side of your building, which is what, 7,000, 8,000 square feet, I don't know how big it is, whatever it may be. All that water is going into a 6-inch PVC pipe directly into your parking lot.
It goes both ways.
Right in front of you.
It goes both ways. It goes Garfield and it goes to Hayes.
Okay.
Okay, well then,
It goes both ways.
well, whatever the case may be, it's a 6-inch pipe. So all of that water that is coming off is going directly into your parking lot.
Yeah.
And like,
Where would it go otherwise?
Well,
than that? 'Cause
Yeah,
if it
I
went
mean,
right to the
you
ground,
can't
it's gonna go
attribute 8
there
inches of
anyhow.
flood water
Well,
to just the roof of his building.
and not even that, when
I know,
like you
but-
said, you got
Doesn't make
grandfathered in, if you were to try to build that construction today, I believe we would all be in favor of putting in a system
A similar
like to
system.
this. So you
Ultimate-
contain
But
your own
that's not the
stormwater.
case. That's
you-
not the
but
case.
you-
All I'm saying is, you know, his house got built, he's got that system in his house, and I'm getting flooded out. We build 4 more units, what's gonna happen after that? Is there any guarantee from the town that I'm not gonna have, instead of 3 inches, 6 inches at my door?
Like I was just saying, this unit should be covering, it's just.
It should be, but his should have been covered as well.
So then why don't you have a problem with him?
I'm not in favor of that house, I never
It's
was.
It's not necessarily
It's
his
not.
fault either, though.
That was,
It's not- yeah,
it was
it's
just,
not
that was just
necessarily his
to,
fault.
So
to
Mr.
get
Knox,
at it.
the way I look at this is everybody is responsible for their own stormwater, correct?
Yes.
That's the.
Right.
MS4
that's the
stormwater.
intent.
They're designing a system that's, in my eyes,
It's not
no,
needed.
I wouldn't say overkill, but it's.
I wouldn't either.
It's gonna exceed, it's not gonna exceed post-construction,
That
the
8
runoff
inch.
from that site.
Recharge, that's
And when
not
I see
overkill.
pictures of water in front of your garage door, and I see a 6-inch PVC pipe downspout that just it's not directed in any direction towards the street, nothing, right into your own driveway, I just can't, that's where your stormwater's coming from. All the water that comes down your roof is going
So
directly
you
into
tell
your
me this is
driveway.
my fault?
I'm not saying it's
No.
your fault.
No, it's.
I'm just saying it's not his.
Because the building's always been there, is what I'm saying. Whether the water fell off the roof
Yeah.
with no gutters,
And there was always
I
a
don't
problem
think
there. I
so.
know firsthand because I know Deterras. That problem was
Understood, but-
always there.
you know who?
The Deterras that owned it before you. Related to the Deterras. I used to go in the garage. He used to get that thing flooded all the time.
Paul Tran?
Yeah, Trahan, related to the Deterras. And that they always had that problem. But like he was saying, if you wanted to fix the problem, you could put catch basins underneath that, where you could have your underneath your driveway, which catches your rainwater off your roof, and then it will.
Alright, so
you know.
basically what I'm saying is, like, this new system is gonna have no ill effects to the area,
No, it's going to be less. It's going to be less,
as long as we're all aware of that.
and he technically
we're
doesn't
all
even have to
aware of
do this. He's
As long
doing
as
it to
we're
be
all
a
aware of
friendly
that,
neighbor.
because when it doesn't happen that way, because it's not going to, and the crushed stone driveways turn into asphalt driveways, then we'll have to figure it out.
Mr. DeVignan?
Perhaps Carrie Williams, she's a stormwater expert, she could just explain what goes through the analysis and how it complies with DEP stormwater regs.
Carrie?
Hello.
Hi, Gary.
Nice,
Hi,
hello,
Kevin.
nice to join. Thank you. So I am Carrie Williams. I'm a PE. I'm licensed in Massachusetts. I did do the stormwater report in calcs. The report is based on the Mass DEP stormwater regs and the town's requirements for stormwater. Many of you may know that the town's requirements for water quality and attenuation is more restricted than the Mass DEP standards are. So this project is designed to meet water quality, stormwater detention, and infiltration and recharge. So typically a 4-lot residential subdivision is not required to meet DEP standards. So Dave is correct about how this project has really included a lot of more stringent standards in order to make sure that there are no issues for this development and downstream properties. So there are some gravel driveways and part of the town's stormwater requirements, gravel driveways are considered impervious area. So I know there was a comment about gravel turning it into asphalt. That's the same runoff here with our calculations. So the town's requirements is detaining the 2, 10, 25, and 100-year storm events. The 2 and the 10-year storm event is the most frequent storm events that occur with common rains. So your requirement in the town is to meet the 2, 10 stormwater rate and runoff, meaning volume. Most areas are not required to meet volume also, so it detains a lot more of the stormwater because you're required to detain volume up to the 10-year storm event. So Dave was correct about how the 4 dwelling units will be piped, the roof runoff will be piped to the back into the underground infiltration system. And that infiltration system outfalls to the stormwater pond, which is a very large pond there that's shown on the plan as well. And then that pond has an outfall structure that will discharge out to Hayes. So it's kind of, after the larger storms occur, if the underground system that's behind the houses cannot handle those storms, it will pop out over and go out into the stormwater detention pond. And so that's where it goes next. And so the stormwater pond is designed to meet water quality and quantity control for the project. So there is no concern about adding more dirty water off to adjacent properties. And we are mimicking existing drainage patterns. So the amount of stormwater runoff that might go out to Hayes is not going to be anything more than what's going out there now. The amount of runoff that's going out to Garfield Street will not be increased either. What's going out to the southwest towards the wall, I know you're talking about this wall along the property, that will not, creating the wall will not create more stormwater going to adjacent properties. Everything's contained within the project, and we've done our best to exceed all the standards and hopefully make this project something that everybody could be happy with. I don't know if you had any more questions, just let me know, but I'm still here.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public with comments, questions, concerns?
So I can contact DPW about the drainage or?
Yeah, you're gonna have to build up.
Which one?
I absolutely would if I were you, yeah.
It's tough, but that's who you gotta talk to. Unfortunately.
Pat,
Because they're gonna be affected the most, because they're
Yeah.
directly right across the
any,
street.
any
Yeah.
additional comments, anything?
Your driveway.
No,
they're gonna have that
I thought
driveway
her explanation was fine, and
Street.
like we said, it all looks good on paper, and as long as it works, that's it.
They're gonna take that all out, all that fence,
Hold
all
on.
that,
If you-
right there, that's all coming out. Yeah. That's all gonna be a street.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. If you have any questions, you can come up to the podium.
She's explaining to her,
Oh,
or what's happening, because that's her kind of English. The husband had to bring his mother to Arkansas. So deep in the BS, so the daughter's actually filming, so we're explaining to her what's going on.
Okay.
Because they're gonna be the most affected.
Yeah, just trying to,
Our retention pond will be right in front of their house.
that, it shouldn't be tough, that, if it gets into there, like.
So can we have them spray for bugs and mosquitoes that
It's-
it could potentially
It's
do?
not, it's dry well.
Yeah, it's a
not-
dry, it's a dry basin.
Yeah, infiltration,
But it's good, but
Infiltration.
when we do get a lot of rain, so like this year we had an abundance of rain. Last
won't.
season we had a drought.
Yeah,
This year we had an abundance of rain. So
You have a lot of
It's not
standing
good.
water after heavy rain though, in that area? Do you have a lot of standing water that you
well, I'm
notice?
just saying if it can't
Because
handle it,
the
Miss Kelly
the detention
said
pond
it was
should-
gonna pump out into the.
into the
No,
dry
don't
well.
pump out.
Not pump, but flow.
Yeah,
In
everything
the
flows.
event that it reaches that
into the
point.
retention pond.
And that
Correct.
pond is
So
just.
that it's
The
gonna
pond,
sit
the
in the
pond,
retention pond.
the water won't stay.
No, it
It's not.
infiltrates.
Yeah,
It's
it's designed
designed
to
to allow the water to disperse
through the ground.
in a, you know, a timely manner so that you won't have an insect.
It's gonna look like a
You
big
shouldn't
grass
get an
desert.
insect problem from it. That's the reason.
Oh no, I work around retention ponds all the time and
Well,
I see them full of water all
Again,
the
this
time.
is
Well,
an infiltration, so.
There's different types too.
Yeah,
You got
infiltrate
dry
within
well,
72
I
hours.
get what you guys are doing with that.
yeah. Some are dry, some are
Right,
wet.
it won't stay.
All right, so with that,
I'd just like to ask Kerry a quick question.
go ahead, Christian.
Kerry,
Yes,
based on your calculations, you're claiming that this system, or these two systems, should be able to handle a 10-year storm. Is that correct?
yes, that handles all the way up to the 100-year storm.
Oh, all right, that's fine. Mhm.
All right,
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to verify. Thank you.
well, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Oh,
Is it, all those in favor?
He didn't ask for anybody on Zoom yet.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Anybody on Zoom with comments?
I think there's a no.
I just see one other person on that.
Yeah, I just dropped, yeah.
Jeff, any comments? No questions? All right, keep that as a no. All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Oh, all right.
All right, roll call vote.
Oh, what did, are we voting on the?
No, we're just gonna
Public
close the
hearing.
public hearing.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Aye.
Say your name.
Yes.
Eric
me
Brown,
too.
aye.
How you doing? Brian Rosendi's aye.
Everett Fella, aye.
Christian D'Souza, aye.
All right. Well, I don't have an issue. We discussed this before the public hearing. I think this is suited well for this site. I think it's engineered well. And I think it's gonna be, in the best interest of the town, this project.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna.
I agree.
I just have
You're
one
being
question.
thoughtful of
Yeah,
this.
Can we put a conservation restriction on them never paving the
Oh,
driveways?
yeah, that's right. That's for,
Hey, the other thing that's gonna
I mean-
make a difference?
well,
Well, it's part of her
Chief-
math too.
Kerry claims that it's
Everett.
not. It doesn't
Everett.
matter.
Can we put a restriction on never paving the driveways?
I think you're doing yourself a disservice there. So, under the stormwater handbook, that gravel driveway is as impervious as a paved driveway.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what
And I
yeah.
think that, so it's already considered impervious, it's already part of the count.
For,
Right, but
But as far as-
if they put concrete, like someone mentioned during the comment period, would that that's gonna change calculation?
Stormwater calculations go, they're both impervious
The engineers,
surfaces,
okay.
so it's in the count.
engineered,
Okay,
yeah.
I think they're gonna wanna pave it after they plow all of the greenery.
Yeah, put all the stone into the driveway.
Yeah. And
I
someone can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think I'm right.
definitely agree with you,
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna really make that much of a difference, to be honest. It's
The only
not
thing
like
is,
it's a
that's what the
huge
neighbor said,
driveway.
and that's what the plans say, so just stick with it, that's all we ask, that's what I would ask.
Just an idea,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
I say stick with
Time
the
will
stone.
All right, so,
But now if, I know he's not, but now if he decided to sell the property, and I don't know.
all right, so I had, I had a discussion with Pat today, and we talked about, projects, being exempt from the bylaw and how, whether they're exempt, they still need to, meet the
Yeah,
requirements.
the guidelines, that's
Right.
right, yeah. No, that's.
So,
Yeah,
I agree with him there, and
Yeah.
I feel like,
Exemption doesn't
I feel
mean-
like this project does, and you guys need a stormwater permit for the, for the retaining wall, obviously. But our stormwater regulations do say that if there is a basin on site, that it requires a surety to the town for maintenance and all that other stuff. You guys are okay with that? I mean, it's in the best interest of the town. If something was to happen, it shouldn't be the town's responsibility.
But it's, I don't know, I feel
An
this.
EPA requirement, Ryan.
With that,
It's an EPA requirement under our MS4 stuff.
yeah, and it is, that is in our bylaw, and it doesn't, say that.
It's as simple as Dave putting together, and he already has a pretty basic maintenance plan.
Yeah, he already, and I saw it in the storm.
Yeah, so just put a number on that maintenance
Yeah, but
plan. It doesn't,
Yeah.
So what are we gonna make
There is a
everybody
number
put
on
a-
it in the stormwater, application that you put in.
But they're
There
exempt,
is-
why are we gonna make, if everybody wants to put in their stormwater, why are we gonna
They're not
charge people?
exempt.
They're,
It doesn't matter.
they still need a stormwater permit for the project, and then our stormwater bylaw does
For
say.
the wall, they need it for.
They still need a stormwater permit for the
For
project.
the wall, right?
So in a sense, this
Why
project
the
the stormwater permit applies to this project
Mm-hmm.
because of stone wall. However,
But the stone wall wasn't needed in the first place.
it's part of the design, it's part of all,
It's all-
But he could have
it's all
wiped the
drawn.
whole thing out, he's just doing it to be,
If it's all drawn on this paper.
this is,
Right,
this is,
it's part of
these
the-
are the,
it's
these
part
are
of
the
the
plans that were
project.
submitted to us,
Regardless,
and this is what we have to.
It's still,
I understand, but what I'm getting at is you can't, I feel that you can't, like, say I wanted to do this and just be a good Samaritan and do it, you can't just slap the wrist
Yeah, I
on somebody
think it's
because
a
they're
little
being
more-
nice.
It's a little more than that, no. It's-
No.
it's-
Why? 'Cause he
it's
could just
needed.
wipe it all
It's
and we still
needed.
can't.
No, it's needed.
If he took the wall out, he doesn't need a stormwater permit.
But the wall is needed.
No, it isn't. It's needed because he made the storm wall.
These are the, Eric, these are the plans that we are
We're gonna
discussing.
work off of these.
I-
Eric. These are what's submitted. This is what we're all working off of, is these.
But we went over this last time. Like, I just because he's being a nice guy and he's doing, like, I
I
just,
think it's a little more than that. That's all, that's
But it
how you
isn't.
gotta look at it.
at the end of the day, it
Right,
isn't. They are
listen.
exempt from a stormwater project without it.
Our stormwater regulations say, inspection and maintenance. All stormwater management systems shall be inspected and maintained
Right.
in accordance with these regulations and the handbook. All of this has been designed based on the handbook, okay? The applicant shall post acceptable surety to cover the cost and maintenance of the selected stormwater management system. It's black and white right there. That's,
Okay, whatever, I just don't, it's
that's, I just,
Part of the stormwater.
my job is to adhere to the bylaw
Yeah.
and adhere to our
Mine
regulations.
too, but
Eric, if I may speak, so, I'm not gonna go round and round with this, I'm way too deep into this project to worry about the surety. The only thing that bothers me is that how it's come about to be where we're at, and my question is, normally when you put up a surety or a bond, it's for a road that you're gonna build, and you're gonna turn it over to the town. How is the town gonna, where is my money that I'm gonna put in this thing? How is the town gonna go to maintain a private property project? That's the thing that bothers me, like, I'm putting up money, what am I
They're
putting?
not.
So where's
They're
the-
not.
No.
You're still responsible for that. The surety is in the event that you negate your responsibilities.
I get that, but how does the
That-
town
that's-
go, how does the town go on private property to do that? What gives it,
The
so,
town doesn't
well,
do it.
So who does it?
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
me.
question. Who?
We can't hear
MS
you,
Flow
Pat.
stormwater law states that the town or the property owner has to maintain it. I
So,
don't,
listen, we just, let Dave come up, can we come up with a more realistic number for what we're gonna do, and I'll put up a surety bond for it.
I'm sure it's not.
Can we just,
Have a number yet. You didn't even have a number yet. That's why I said, just have Dave put
Yeah.
a number on it.
So let's
and
just-
have Dave call you off.
Sure, I was just asking the question because just being
Again.
in the business that I'm in, I deal with subdivisions all the time. And when a subdivision gets turned over, you put that money in an escrow account through a bond or a surety, and the town maintains those ponds because it becomes a town piece of property and they're paying to do the
This is
pond.
different.
That's not the case.
Right, so I
No,
just
that's
wanna-
not the case.
I
So
get it.
that's,
So now I'm curious,
But,
where's
I
the
mean-
money, how do you hire somebody to go on private property?
well, in the
We don't,
event
let me
of a
tell you how-
catastrophe, it would have to
Pat's
happen.
trying to say how it works.
no, but then you would find the
Can
property
somebody just
owner.
listen to Pat a second and just go for it?
Go ahead, Agent Hannon.
Trying to tell you how it works. So the money, and this is an EPA requirement, this isn't a town local requirement. So the money gets deposited with the town treasurer, it's held by the town. If the contractor has to do something, he can draw on the money to do repairs. If the contractor goes bankrupt and no longer owns the property and something fails, the money's there for a contractor to come in, not the town. The town only holds the money, they don't self-perform any of the work.
Sure.
And the Terrace Basin over on Badford Street is about the same size. And I think his surety is like $6,000. So, and if you ever sell it, you can form a homeowners association and they can take the money
Yeah,
back.
I'm good with it. We'll just, Dave put the number together and we'll just put up a surety
Yeah.
and we just move on.
I don't think it would be extreme.
We're not talking telephone numbers.
No, I wouldn't.
All right. So,
That
The
being
only,
said-
the only question I have, since we're on the subject matter, is if you can post a bond, that's what's done with solar farms, right?
Yep.
Or if money was put into, say cash was put in escrow, say $6,000, and it's $300 a year in maintenance, is he able to draw off that account once he submits a bill to the town? Or is
So
he?
they just-
After he does the maintenance, I believe he is.
So then,
It's to make sure it gets done, Dave. There's been too many
Yeah.
developments where
No, I
people say they
understand.
don't have money.
I'm just saying like.
Mark Francois?
Cut out.
your microphone's terrible.
So that means you'll be able to use the money, Robbie.
yeah, it's just,
No one's ever had to do it yet. The money's being paid, but there hasn't been any maintenance.
because
This is all kinds of
nobody
new.
probably
Right.
knows.
Going forward, right?
I was paid it, Mark Francois paid it,
Yeah, it's not just.
Pick a number, Dave.
Okay.
yeah.
All right, with that,
We're gonna close the hearing.
You didn't vote.
yeah, we already closed the hearing.
You didn't vote.
We didn't vote. So I will entertain a motion to issue a stormwater permit to Rob
In
Rodricks,
accordance with the plans,
in accordance with the plans, to Rob Rodricks for the Hayes and Garfield Village Green Townhouses.
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, roll call vote. Eric,
Aye. Eric DeBarros.
Hi, James Souza.
Heidi Pelletier.
Brian Resendes, aye.
Everett, aye.
Christian D'Souza, yes.
All right, that's unanimous.
Thank you for your time.
One question I have.
Yes.
Thank you, first of all. I want to thank everybody here for being cooperative and understanding. And the second thing is, I've been trying to get building permit going here, and this was one of the things that was hinging on it. So I need the signature on this. What's the time frame from getting him to sign so I can, because they're trying to put the addresses together to start the whole building permit thing. They had to get addresses and figure it out, so the assessors and the building department have been working on that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking just to get foundations in as soon as I can, because we're going into the winter months here, just to get the ground broke and get foundations in.
Understood.
So,
Orion,
Pat,
what we've done in the past, and we did for the Terra, is I'll tell Andy tomorrow morning that it was approved by the commission, and he'll give him permits for foundations only if he wants them, or I could probably, if Dave could get the number out and they could take care of that, the permit could be probably ready Monday or Tuesday.
That's fine, that's more than fair, I appreciate that, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Good
See you, have a good holiday.
Thanks. All right, no discussion. Agent updates. Meat Bub, Park Drive Solar.
So last night was a public presentation, I don't know if anybody zoomed into it, for Park Drive with NEPA. They're going through the environmental notification process. There was about 11 residents on the meeting. I was on the meeting, and MEPA was a little surprised to find out from us that the order of conditions had expired. Oh, well, is expiring and wasn't being renewed. There was a lot of concern from the neighbors about the wildlife. Sincarfa mentioned that they had a plan for the turtles, and the residents said, but what about all the other wildlife? You know, it's 35 acres of clearing a virgin forest. And then the NEPA analyst talked a little bit about the wetlands flagging. They had their wetland scientist on. They said that there was 2 different companies that did flagging up there. She went out and fixed some recent flagging. And then they put the plans up, and 4 direct abutters were very, very concerned about flooding after the solar field built. And one of them raised the issue of 550 Main Street with the flooding that happened down there. And I explained that what happened there was when they graded the site, they changed the grades, even though what was approved by the commission said they would maintain the existing grades. And when you look at the soil profiles for Park Drive, there could be a couple of feet of unsuitable soil on that whole 34 acres. And stripping, 2 feet of soil and organics off of 34 acres could cause a hell of a lot of flooding, and would be a lot of trucking and a lot of traffic. And then dirt has to come back in that would be suitable to put all this equipment on. So we talked about that a little bit, and then I had brought the plans home, and when I was reading the plans, I read the Conservation Commission, and it wasn't you folks, this was an earlier approval. They approved the use of 294,000 square feet of the buffer zone for panels. So the commission was giving up 294,000 square feet of buffer zone in that 34 acres. And that is, I actually said last night I was shocked. And that is shocking, Ryan.
Yeah.
Basically, when you look at the plans, and this was approved during COVID, so the Conservation Commission didn't have a full-size set of plans. The commission looked at an 8.5 by 11 on Zoom. I mean, they really got the wool pulled over their eyes, in my opinion. It got approved in one night. So then we talked a little bit about alternatives. They had to do an alternatives analysis of what was the benefit to mowing down 34 acres of trees or leaving it up. And then I mentioned that 52 Morse's Lane is coming into our next meeting to try and extend their order of conditions for their 34 acres of tree clearing. And then that's 50 feet from the edge of the Park Drive project. That's part of their area, goes 50 feet away. And then Deep Brook is another 32 acres. So those 3 projects, side by side by side, are 102 acres of trees being cut down in one area. And I just find that that's
It's a bit extreme.
I don't know how that's gonna be manageable. And then one of the residents asked a really good question on the stormwater. There's a climate resiliency part of the ENF. It's 396-page application. And there's a climate resiliency part, and they flunked 3 out of 5 of the stormwater climate resiliency issues. And they said that they were improving stormwater by putting the solar field in, and that the stormwater would no longer run along.
Oh, we lost you.
Yeah, your microphone stopped working.
I know what to get him
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Christmas now, huh?
Oh,
Can't hear you.
No.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Yeah, all right, so they tried to say there was more of a,
lost ya.
Unplug that sucker.
more of a benefit having panels than having the original drainage. So we're gonna be coming up on the December 8th comment period. And I would like the commission members to think about sending in comments to NEPA. It can be done online, just by an email. And if you're in favor of the project, say you're in favor of the project. If you think you have issues and you would like to go through the full environmental study, and I really believe it needs to. It wasn't done. Everything's been avoided. Everything has been kind of half of the story. I don't think that Sincarfa was gonna tell me last night that the order of conditions wasn't extended. NEPA didn't know about 52 Morse's Lane, they didn't know about Deep Brook. They didn't know about the soil conditions and some other things. And the fellow from DEP that approves the notices of intent and reads the submittals for our region was on the meeting. And we're gonna be talking on Tuesday. He was really concerned about the 294,000 square feet of buffer zone. I mean, Evelyn Boulay was on the NEPA meeting last night. And even she was, I think she fell out of her chair when she heard that number. So, all their basins are right up against the wetlands, everything. It's just, so we have till the 8th of December to send in any comments we want to NEPA. And I just think the biggest comment is that it doesn't just get a single environmental impact report and a click of the heels, that this actually gets a full study, because this could be really important to the town as far as flooding. You have flooding, just like your last hearing, there's flooding already at Morse's Lane, the way things sit now. And take out 100 acres of trees upstream from Morse's Lane. And that'll be something. And I noticed that on the Deep Brook paperwork, it says that Deep Brook is an intermittent stream. But on Sincarfa's submittal last night, they're saying it's a perennial stream. And the setback from a perennial stream is 200 feet. And the intermittent is 100 feet. So there's a lot of conflicts between all three of those projects. And that's where we're at. I did ask for an extension for 30 days so that maybe the commission would have time to read it or look at the 396 pages and see if we wanted to make any other substantive or more informed comments. They said it was up to Sincarfa whether they wanted to extend it. Sincarfa wouldn't commit to an extension last night. They said they would let us know at the end of the week, which is pretty much a waste of time. I thought that we extended the olive leaf when we approved the Lambert Street on the basis they would share information and give us opportunities to comment and do all of those things, and they've already, changed their mind. And they sued the town, but it's not really that kind of a lawsuit. They filed an appeal saying that the commission should have extended their order conditions. Everybody does it to protect their rights to try and do it a different way. But I think that after talking to the NEPA analysts, this will be going to a draft environmental impact report. I've asked for a wildlife study. I think that a third party should come in and do a wildlife study. It's not just about the turtles. It really is about all of the other wildlife that's in there. And Natural Heritage made a statement that they determined there wouldn't be substantial harm. But I don't know how you mow down 34 acres of virgin forest and have a state agency say there's not going to be any harm. It's more than half the site. And NEPA only knows what the proponent told them. we weren't privy to those conversations. We weren't in that abbreviated, meeting or telephone conversation. They may have only told them about Lambert Street. They may have told them about the bigger project. And when I first spoke to the media analyst, that was the first he heard of the bigger project was from me. He only knew about Lambert Street. So there's some smoke and mirrors going on here. And it just bears watching.
Thank you for the update. Thanks for pointing out a lot of that stuff.
I don't know if you want to ask.
Great job on that.
What's that, Joanne?
That's what it means, that's a lot of buffer zone.
Yeah, well, that, it wasn't presented, I mean, I was a part of that, and, I'm not necessarily against the project, but, the way it's being presented to me now, and the way it was presented to me then are different stories,
Significantly, right? Yeah.
That was a common theme last night from all of the neighbors. Is that they were told one thing and they just finally found out at the last planning board meeting what the numbers really were. The rubber hit the road at that meeting. And in some cases, it's almost double.
Right. Well, all right, well, so December 8th comment period.
Was there something you'd like to say?
No, I'm just here I was on the meeting last night, Heidi Espinola, I'm on Park Drive. So I sat in on the meeting and I had the same concerns as everyone else. It's just a lot of acreage. It's unbelievable. And I'm afraid that, I'm gonna get flooded, my septic's gonna get ruined. The animals, they said this many acres, but it's really more acres, and it's just,
Shady.
I mean, with the solar farm where you don't have to cut the trees down, there's plenty of other fields that we can do this.
Yeah,
It's just,
I agree
oh, and the other
to
thing
an
is,
extent.
half the time I don't get the certified documents that get mailed out. And I have found out that my postal person is actually signing. So I have 4 certified documents that I never signed for. And a lot of the abutters have not gotten different documents. I mean, this is going on, what, couple of years, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years now?
Yeah, and I noticed that a lot more abutters were notified for the Lambert Street entrance
Then for the Deep Brook,
than for
for
the,
the Brook Street.
yes, than for the original filing itself. There
Yeah.
was, I mean, granted, it was in 2020, everything was Zoom, but yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't-
I mean, we try to tell each other when meetings are going on. So I'm gonna send my comments, and of course, I mean, I was born and raised here, this is a farming community, it's like a solar farm
Yeah.
community, basically.
I
It's
agree.
too much,
Solar community.
it's way too much.
I mean, I hate, I don't wanna tell somebody what they can and can't do with their land,
Now, I thought years ago they tried to put houses back there, like about 20 years ago.
They did.
And they couldn't do it. So I'm thinking, this is the way the person's gonna put a solar farm, wipe out all the trees, 20 years goes
Yeah.
by,
Yeah.
now he's gonna try to
Landlocked.
build, everything's been cleared. Or the panels they're gonna be no good in 10 years. We don't benefit from anything.
Right.
So I really, really, if you're against it, please put comments in.
Yeah,
If you're
I'm
for
aga-
it,
I'm-
well,
the impacts are concerning
It's a
to
bit
me.
extreme.
I mean, especially with the 3 solar farms going up. I mean, that's the whole neighborhood.
I was saying when we were walking it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did an extensive walk about a month ago.
I mean, I thought there was a river back there at some point, Red River, years
River?
ago. I mean, my kids used to go back there.
Deep
And in the-
Brook is back
Brook,
there,
no, I
yeah.
realize that.
It's
I'm
past the
saying-
power line.
Past the power line,
And
yeah.
like, in the New Year's, we used to go back there. And I mean, my kids have fallen in it. It was like a little creek.
That's what that girl was saying.
Yeah, it's still back
You
there.
could cool off
I mean,
in there in
there's-
the
there's
summer if
so
you
much
wanted to.
Destruction, that's happened back there.
The back of that lot is actually the headwater for Deep Brook.
Yeah, right, that's the headwater there, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we saw
Problem
that.
is, it's already approved, right? So
Yeah.
how do you go back,
No, it's not anymore.
you know?
Well-
I mean,
Yeah,
Well, I
Unless-
mean, yeah, it's not 100%.
yeah, there's still
No, there's
a lot
some,
of,
right, some
things
hurdles,
that-
there's still some hurdles to be,
Make sure you send emails and you have everybody you know.
right, everyone comment.
Put your comments.
That's right.
That's all you
And
can do.
it's important to know that you don't need to live,
Oh, we lost
I
it.
think-
Man, we're
going
gonna
again,
shut,
Pat.
just shut them off,
I know what I'm getting
Shut
you
'em
for
off.
Christmas.
shut them off.
All right.
No.
Well,
No,
thank you for
yeah.
your comments, and yeah, definitely reach out to, you know,
And have everyone reach out and send as many comments as we can. I mean, I don't know, I walked it and said that this ain't a good idea.
The best
No.
thing to do, Heidi, is to have everybody sign up to that code red.
uh,
When you go onto the Acushnet website
Yeah.
page, scroll down, and there's a way you can get.
no EP,
You can get Conservation Commission notifications if you check the
oh,
box.
I do get those.
Okay, but spread the word to your neighbors.
Oh, okay.
That if they
If they
sign up
want
to that,
know.
as soon as I post it, and it might only be 48 hours before I post a meeting, but
Yeah.
you'll be aware, even if the abutters didn't get a notification like you're saying through the mail, because I've been hearing that, it happens, a lot of times I hear people saying the same thing, and the mailman did admit that that's what they're doing.
Right?
Well, yeah,
they-
yeah,
they,
right.
Hey, Ryan,
The letter
Right,
carrier.
but to
Yeah,
Mount
go
Pleasant,
ahead.
I've asked, I've
does the
inquired.
lady there know Kathy Murray?
Yes.
Yes.
So Kathy Murray has the link to where you would want to comment,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's not
okay.
on the town website. It's
Is that-
it's on DEP's website, but Kathy has the link.
All right, I'll text
Yeah.
her. I'll
But
get that.
if you
Yeah.
can get the people to sign up, at least
See, I
you'll
was on the
know.
phone, not on the computer last
Yeah.
night, so I didn't see it.
And like I said, you can get people to at least get the notifications of the Conservation Commission so they can read through the agendas and see when we're talking about,
Yeah,
you know, Lambert Street or Park Drive or whatever.
right.
And at
Okay.
least get, you know, and you can call the office every week that you see, you know, I'm gonna be posting the new schedule, call us and ask us, you know?
Yeah,
And just try to get people involved.
okay.
all right, any other agent updates, Pat?
That's enough.
Okay,
Pat, what about, the weed abatement?
Oh, the, Lake Street?
Yeah,
Yeah, so Lake Street wants to come in and meet with us, and they want us to tell them what they need to do.
and he'll have a
This is a-
consultant here through Zoom.
This is still a Class A reservoir, and I don't think that we know what to tell them what to do. But I think it's a waste of time for the commission to get into this until they go meet with New Bedford and tell New Bedford what they want to do, and they can come back and tell us that New Bedford's approved the plan. Because nothing can be done under that MOU until New Bedford approves it. And Chance, the conservation agent, has made that very clear. So my suggestion to Scott Daggett is to start with New Bedford, who initially wanted to put carp in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I didn't realize until I did the soil evaluator thing that it's still regulated as a Class A surface water supply. And that puts a lot of extra bells and whistles onto it, I think. But it's up to you guys, if you want to entertain something and spend a bunch of time on it, and then have it go to New Bedford and have them say, nah, you know, we don't like it, I think that's a waste of time.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
if,
And I understand they want to buy their own machine and do their own dredging, and that involves, you know, permits and dewatering and a place to dispose of it. And, I don't think it's something the town could really undertake themselves.
we can, if,
That's not our problem.
You wouldn't be judging if they buy the machine they're talking about buying. It's just maintenance.
so,
So the
so,
main
if-
point is they should go to New Bedford
Right,
first.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
yeah, or, right.
I mean, ultimately, it's
That,
the
I would,
city's,
I've
the
talked,
city's property.
I've exchanged emails with Scott in the past, and I told him to make sure that New Bedford is filled in with everything, because
Yeah.
they want to be
Well, Dave
in the loop.
Warnock called Joanne and said, you know, I'm gonna have Scott Daggett call you, and can you tell them what they need to do? And I said to Joanne, we really can't tell them what to do, because then they'll say, you said to do it, and something else
No,
will come up.
I agree with that. I'd like to get the agent from New Bedford involved in it for sure.
Yeah, so I'll send you Chance's email and maybe you can forward that to Scott.
We don't own it.
All right, yeah.
I have his email, he's been to one of our meetings.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So you want
Yeah, I
Scott
remember
to
that.
reach out to
New
Chance?
Bedford.
Yeah,
Yeah, the agent,
yeah, give me,
right?
I'd like Chance's email too. I'd like
Okay, I'll
to,
send you.
you know, I'd
Okay.
like to stay in the loop on that. I am interested in the project, so.
Yeah, because they had asked to get on the next agenda and bring a consultant, I think he said from Connecticut, and just do something from Zoom and talk to the, commission. I said I'd bring it to the chairman and to Pat.
I mean, I have no, if we want to invite Chance to come for
Yeah,
the meeting, so
that
we can
makes
sit in, that's fine too, you know?
We have a really busy agenda next meeting,
All right. Well, yeah.
so, and I said to Joanne, we should push it to the meeting after that, but.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, the meeting after that would be for information only, right? Isn't
If you
December-
want to meet at the end of December, just to the 20, I think it was the 27th, if you want to just meet to, discuss things, there's no
You can make it a Zoom for
advertisement.
everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's right, there's
You
no
know,
ad,
with
yeah.
the discussion,
That's
there's
right.
no ad.
Yeah, there's no ads.
I'm not thinking of myself, I'm thinking of you guys.
Neighborhood news.
So the next meeting would be the December 13th meeting, which that's already closed and ready to go. The next one
And it's
would
a
be
busy
December
meeting.
27th meeting. You have the 3 site visits that I spoke to you
27th.
earlier about
Right.
on the 13th. But on the
13th.
27th, you could just
Celebrating
have,
Christmas.
if you want to do
I'm
a
okay,
Bedford.
I'm okay with that, if we can get in touch with, Scott, and we'll just make it an information, and then we'll put our heads together, figure out what needs to be done. I think that's more or less,
But I think if you
Yeah,
zoom in,
and
is
get
that
everybody on the
considered
same page.
get everybody on the same page so we can, I know they want to get the project
Together.
moving forward, let's do that. I have no problem with that.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
But if you do, so you can have somebody zoom in and just discuss things.
We
Right,
can,
okay.
that's gotta be posted, right?
Yes,
We still have to post
You
it,
just-
but
you
you
just
can make
wouldn't
it a
take any
Zoom meeting
votes,
so
right?
everybody could just stay home.
right.
Yeah, right, that's fine, I'm,
Gonna be the only topic you're gonna discuss.
yeah, that's fine, I have
Yep.
no problem with that at all.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so 27th Zoom.
Yeah, all right,
Unless you guys like sitting there.
No,
But,
I don't.
right.
yeah,
We can do Zoom in person, whatever.
No,
well, I have no problem with the Zoom meeting.
either way.
All right, future business. Next meeting of the Conservation Commission will be on December 13th, 2023, in this room here, the Town Hall Meeting Room. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All right, roll call vote.
James was aye.
Brian Resendes, aye.
Eric Phil, aye. Christian D'Souza, aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:15.